Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Bronson Kobayashi, and I'm here to talk to you guys about recovery from abuse and treatment options. Okay. So, some of you might be here because you are possibly being abused right now, or you might know someone being abused. And well, there's many types of abuse. It can come in all shapes and sizes. And there are multiple forms of abuse ranging from sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, psychological, and believe it or not, even economical abuse. Although there are so many different types of abuse, the treatment options and the fear of seeking for some type of health or healing can be very similar to one another. I'm going to focus on treatment specific to domestic violence, but relating to all forms of abuse in general today. According to the National Coalition of Domestic Violence, on average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner of theirs in the United States. And on average, in 1 year, this results to over 10 million people being abused. More than 20,000 phone calls a day are placed to domestic violence hotlines nationwide, and so many of them don't seek treatment, and I'll explain why along the way with some options for treatment. So if you yourself or someone you know is experiencing this, you can be of great help. Some of you might even be wondering what abuse is. And I guess the best way I can explain it is that abuse is when one person in a relationship controls another person or attempts to control another person via forms of control, isolation, dominance, threatening restrictions, blame, and intimidation, and even humiliation. And sometimes a combination of many of those things. The victim of abuse normally seems afraid of the other person and wants to please them, and they normally deny it at first and try to find ways to avoid committing there's a serious issue, according to Dembi Tosi, who is the counselor at Child and Family Services, and Kikoa over here is mom. Thank you for coming, Kikoa. Many victims are afraid of the criminal justice system also, leading them to be silent of their issues, and many of them want to believe that the other person can change and stay out of fear of safety. And there are many ways to help someone being abused, and some of the ways are, like, you might notice that someone being abused or can ask if they're okay. You can explain to them that they can trust you and open up to you. You can allow them a safe place to talk without judgment. And many of these victims are ashamed and don't want to be bashed, but doing this allows them an opportunity to speak and have someone to trust. You can also offer help and ask if they would like to see any additional help without pressuring them. Reassure and console them that there are options out there that are safe and will allow them to feel protected. Support them, whatever the case, and sometimes they'll leave, sometimes not. But in any case, if you guys support them and their decisions, it will be a crucial step in the process. And there's no conditions with supporting someone. You can support them wholeheartedly without restriction. So that's the best part. That's the most important, support. So remember that for later. Alright. More treatment options are to try and recognize the warning signs that I mentioned earlier. Isolation, control, dominance, threatening restrictions, blame, intimidation, humiliation, etc. And there is help available in all of those abusive situations. You can contact the police, you can contact the domestic violence hotline number, you can contact counselors, you can contact a friend or family, someone you trust, and there are ways out there to seek help. I've also provided a list here of numbers and contact information. There's help for women, hotlines in Canada, in the UK, Ireland, Australia, and there's even a worldwide directory. There's help for men as well in the US and Canada and UK and Ireland, Australia. And here on the Big Island, we have 10 different places that you can go for any type of abuse, including drug abuse, and 19 different counselors on the Big Island that you can contact for private counseling. And so yeah, here's the information if you guys would like to pass that around. There's a variety of forms of abuse. So we talked about that. Do you guys know what types of abuse you mentioned?
Physical, mental,
economical,
Yeah.
sexual.
Yeah, good job. Okay. Do you guys have any questions on those types of abuse?
What is economic?
Well, economical abuse is when someone is maybe more affluent than their partner, and maybe they might make them feel lesser or less worthy for not making as much money, or even for men, maybe the woman's making more money and it makes them feel inferior or like
so
less masculine.
that can lead to like physical.
But we all know that women are just as equal as men, and that we should all treat each other the same. So that's why it's important to, I guess, talk about economic abuse. Yeah. You guys have any more questions on types of abuse? Okay. Also, it can be very dangerous for the victim and fearful. So as a family member or person looking in, do you guys remember some things that we can do to help? Support, yeah. Support's the most important. Definitely, it'll say so in the article too that support was very helpful for. I actually got to hand out this article.
It's right here.
Oh, sorry, I handed it out. Okay. And as a victim, what are things that you as a victim might want to do immediately if you guys are being abused? Yeah, seek help. Yeah, recognize the signs and seek help. And I guess the first step is denial, and then acceptance, and then moving forward. So as a victim, recognize the signs and seek help. Also, one good thing is to, not a good thing, but one thing that really captures everything is if you imagine your friend or family, or even if you know someone who's been abused or been hurt, who's been abused, and maybe even yourself, and just think about what might help you in that situation. And just follow your know-how, really. I think that's the biggest thing. Follow your heart. If someone needs help, you might be the person that can save their life. But I would advise not to get in the way of someone who's violent, because you might get hurt yourself. But to seek help immediately. Also, yeah, so you guys can take some of that contact information, and I handed out an article earlier about Debbie Tosi, the lady we talked about, Kiko's mom, and her experiences in domestic violence. So if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to talk to me afterwards. And yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you, Papa. All right.
Thank you.